man. Appreciate you, Daniel. Had to come on sometime at some point to be able to meet you in where you were. So hopefully this isn't too loud. I'm going to take this beam saw here, and y'all see I've got these clamps in this. Hey, Rumpelstiltskin, welcome. I've got this kind of like makeshift jig set up here, and I'm going to cut these two boards that I have together at the exact same spot. I need that kind of that way for the ladder, so hopefully not too loud here. Love that level that they have. Oh, that actually broke out my other level, but that's kind of a good thing to have, isn't it? Put it right up against that thing. I generally like two clamps on that. Let me see if it moves. Oh, plug in. False start. Someone gifted you a membership. That's right, Rumpelstiltskin. You're a member. Light's going to get slightly darker for a sec. Sorry, got a little bit darker there. Got to plug in though. One of my favorite tools, but also one of my least used. Sorry if y'all just got a butt shot. One of my least used tools is my beam saw. A little bit of a bear to get it's just a cumbersome thing. As you can see, it's quite large. Let's see, let's get this level here. Well, cleaning, I mean, the edges are straight. I thought it was going to cut there for us because it was coming through that side grain. Sorry, camera. So I'll see, I'm going to use that jig again in a sec to do the 20-degree cut at the bottom of each stud, but that has to be done individually. Make sure that you're cutting a big piece of wood straight. That's the way to do it. I've got this little rough stuff here, but I'm not too worried about that. The board's got a little anglish to them, where that's what the deal is with that, but we'll try to figure it out. Robert Leslie. Yeah, these are actually really good clamps. I got these from the big box store, but I have actually been happier with these than some of the ones I've ordered from online. So, yeah, appreciate the comment, Robert Leslie. That's about it. Jose Santos, welcome. Okay, let's flatten these boards. I got to take a couple little pieces out of these. So this was a board that had some of the you know, staples and little piece of paper from the top of the pallet on it. I'm going to use these for ladder steps. Sorry. Set my multi-tool down somewhere. Oh, there it is, right there. Sometimes you get these out, sometimes you don't, but you do not want your saw blade, you don't want to not try to get them out with saw blades getting ruined with one of them or your planer. I probably would have taken these out if I saw them. Use a different blade for that. It's down in there tight. Yeah, you don't want your tooling to go through these things, man. They're pretty bad, pretty hard on anything, even a little tiny piece of metal. So you don't even want to leave any fragments in there. If you could get them out without getting leaving any little pieces in there, that's best. It's two. I swore there was more than that. I think I took one out the end, but that's part of conventional lumber. Sometimes the best boards have those things in them. Larry Matthews, welcome. Is this the final assembly? Well, this is the ladder. So what you see is a bunch of odds and ends. There's two pieces of wood sitting up on. There's a lot of stuff sitting on the bed frame right now. But once the dowels are put through the braces, then it is the final assembly. I want to say Joao Batista Gomez de Oliveira, welcome. Jose Antonio Ale, welcome. Welcome. All right, so we want to make sure these guys are lined up exactly, because we're going to put, and we have to put bird's mouths in these too. So, because these are going to be the ladder rungs, and we cannot have, well, the stringers. These are going to be the stringers. That is what the little rungs sit in. I have tooled these. I've planed them. That's why they kind of look nice right now for dimensional lumber. I'm going to make a 20-degree angle that mirrors the other side, but I'm going to clamp them together so they don't move first. That might not be quite big enough now. I need a bigger clamp. I'm clumsy, y'all, sorry. Hopefully that's big enough. That should be big enough. So like I said, again, we want to pin these together so they're exactly even, because we're going to draw our angles against each other. This is how I did it last time, to make sure I got my stringers exactly even. I'm going to do these steps a little different, but don't need to be super tight. But yeah, that's nice and even there. Though we got some little stuff here, it still looks pretty flat. We don't have much tolerance, but a little bit. Scoo-doobie, what's up, Mike? Let's go, Mike. Yeah, so right now I'm working on these stringers for the ladder. And I don't have Heather to mod right now, so if you're around for a couple minutes before you got to go back to work, and to help me by modding, then I'd be very appreciative. So I used my Gerber a minute ago to remove some of the little staples and stuff that are in these two pieces. Now one of them is raised over here, which worries me a little. It's kind of the English of the board. So I'm going to push that down and clamp it over here also. There we go. So, all right, so that's forced level. You all couldn't see that part, but all right. So I got my protractor over here. I dropped my pencil. Let me get that. Or not. Yeah, I just used the beam saw to cut these ends off evenly. It's probably my most expensive tool, but I don't use it that often. I love to use it, but it's only for certain applications. I set up the little basic jig on the end. Lost my lead there in this pencil. Anthony Christopher, welcome. Bugs are getting after me right now. I might put a little fan on. First we do this. Deep, even expired works a little bit. All right, let me unplug that beam saw too. Oh, no, I need that. Never mind, I need that. All right, so let's do these 20-degree angles here. 20-degree angle is gonna be the angle that it touches the floor at. So against these straight, and I plane these boards so that the edge is a little bit more forgiving. So a 20-degree angle, if I'm doing my math right on here, really gonna be to the 70 if I'm going off the side, right? Because it's perpendicular. So it's gonna be a 70-degree angle, making a perfect 90. So if you're not with the math, it gets a little tricky doing this job. That looks more like, and you want to make sure you dial this thing in. You don't want it to be different on both. I usually keep two protractors, but that looks a little bit steep. I'm going to try like, I don't want to do 15. That's kind of in the middle. I should have said doesn't look steep. Doesn't look steep enough. That looks more right. That's a 10-degree angle. Mike, is a 10-degree angle good for a bunk bed ladder, or should I do 20? Anybody know in the chat? I'll do 10. I'm unsure too. I need y'all's help. This is 10 degrees. It looks closer to what I did last time. We'll do 10. Hopefully it works. I think the general recommendation is 20 degrees. I'm flipping the protractor because I don't think it matters that much as long as I line that edge up. I want to get this exactly right. All right, that's pretty good, guys. Now, best way to do it is to flip it over and do it on the other side. But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to put these boards back to back and then go through them with the beam saw again. think we can do that. I'm trying to think, is that possible here? Yes, if this one forward one is on the top, then it is. But they have to be lined up exactly evenly. I can also, what I did last time was I used 1x3s or 1x4s, and I did a jigsaw. I did most of it. The bird's mouth is a little tricky too, because that's a relative angle also. And y'all see that's got the angle on it, on the end of it. Maybe like a little too rough. My beam saw may be too rough of a tool to do this with. But it seems more dependable than my circular saw recently. No. It's all right. All right, the way to use your square to do this is we want to take this square and mimic that 20-degree angle. So line that edge up with 20. But it's got to be like this. Hold on. In this case, for some reason, it looks like my square is putting it at 60 degrees. That's relative to the other side. I didn't realize it was that exact angle, but that is it. Yep, 60. So we're going to put it at that mark, right on the 60. It's got to be 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 3/8 inches back. Little, gonna be a little guessing check to this too. And even if I mess it up here, at least both will be the same. But I really want to know my angle precisely, because I might even freehand this, guys. I might freehand this one. Let's move this camera. Put the beam saw in its home for a minute. The beam saw weighed like 28 pounds or something. It's pretty heavy. Hey, Heather B's in the house. Oh, Wes is in the house too. Great. All right, so I got, just to update folks, I've got these two timbers and they got what I think is 10-degree angles. I got to look at them again now. I forgot because I changed it. 20 didn't look good to me. I've planed these boards so they look kind of nice, see? And they're prepared to be cut. I want to cut these two angles precisely. So probably the best way is going to be to cross cut this thing. This vise is going to be tested to its limits with all that weight on the other side of it. You can do a subscriber only chat. It's probably fine. And then members can talk too. Thanks. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me try to jimmy that camera in here a little bit better. As y'all see me succeed or fail at this, that's how it works. And we do not want these to be different. I generally like to cut these both at the same time, but I don't trust that beam saw right now to do that. All right, that's one. That wasn't bad. Maybe a little chisel work on there. Let me test it, line it up with this angle. Maybe way more than this can handle to do this, but I have an idea. That's to use this kind of as a jig. But I gotta back it a little bit. Don't use my shirt though. I'm marring up these boards so bad. Wow, that's really close, but maybe just a hair more. I'm gonna move this top board. This is tricky. Probably why I haven't seen it done. And there's a bit of an angle here. We don't want that. I think I'd be better freehanding that, guys. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna try to use that. Oh yeah, it's way better than my last angle. But there is the factor of the bird's mouth. So you have to make a bird's mouth to get them to fit on the bed. And that bird's mouth has to be a right angle relative to the angle of the stringer. So here we have it's showing me 75-degree angle, so it's like a 15-degree angle. Right? We have a 15-degree angle because it's from here. Maybe it is 75 off that end. But it's from the end grain that they're talking about, so. Yes, it's 15 degrees. 15 degrees. All right, let me check chat. Sorry, y'all. All right, 15 degrees is the angle. So when we do our relative angle against that, we have to calculate that in. Smells like Christmas. Let's see whether my wedges are the same. Very close. This one's got a slight bit of a angle to it. Somebody said something about crock pot chili. That sounds good, man. That sounds good. Cook it up, man. That looks good. You can't see it yet. I'll show it to you a little bit. It looks good. So those angles are looking to be identical. Then it's about making sure they're plumb against here when I see where the bird's mouth should be. So it should be 15 degrees, 90 degrees at 15 degrees. So 90 degrees from that 15-degree angle. At that point, and that's what it looks like. So rather than having them separated, I do want to measure what this distance is here between these, so I know how long my rungs need to be. But I'm going to put them up next to each other. That's what I'm doing now. Make sure they're even. Y'all are making me hungry talking about this chili dogs and slaw and all that. So I do a lot of the work on these by making sure they're lined up, and sometimes I clamp them up just to be sure. So right now you can't see me, but I'm clamping up the ends. Make sure those angles are on line with each other. I made a mark on there. That's where the bird's mouth is going to go. But I have to make a 15-degree angle on there. And then, and where did I make that mark? Right here. This is actually the back, so this would be where the bird's mouth is going to be located. 90-degree angle is going to be that, but we have to do, we're going to start with that. Start with a straight line, right? Then protractor. We could also use our speed square here. Looking for the right angle down there. That doesn't look right to me. Sometimes my brain doesn't work right. That's going to be 45, right? There we go. That sure does seem steep though, doesn't it? I'd rather use my protractor. So flush is 15 degrees. Dogs are barking. That's 15 degrees. All right, so 90. This is going to be your base point, right? We need 90 degrees from that. So that's where I'm going to set the protractor, right? So hard for my brain. Let me get this. This thing is sharp, dude. I'm going to say take it in an inch too. I'm not going to worry too much about depth. If I have a framing square, I do not have a framing square here. I only got one at my dad's place. Pitch is 3, 7, 3 and 7, 30 seconds. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So got to do it the old fashioned way here. I'm just going to make an extending line here at 90 degrees. Kind of at 90 degrees there. I forgot exactly how I did this last time. That's why YouTube just keeps you sharp, man. Let my mind's eye work a little bit. All right, so bird's mouth is going to be, so this is the base. I don't know why I'm having a hard time figuring this out in my head. Yeah, that's going to be where it lays against the frame, right? Against the stringer right there that I just wiped out with my finger. Thank you, John McNally, by the way. Ruiz said I sound hoarse. Yeah, I have had a couple tough days of illness, I would say. Let me do this, make a line across here. It's like an equation. What I do to one side, I want to do to the other. All right, and then I might have to continue that angle, and I'm trying, I just can't, I gotta look at it. Hold on one second. I've done this before, John. This is the second time. And I've never done ladders for a bunk bed. I've done lots of beds. Second ladder from a bunk bed ever, so, you know. It is a lot like rafters. That is right there, that 90 degree mark. And then that would be, so that is flush with the top. Yeah, so the bird's mouth's gonna come out. Yeah, some days, I think I'm a morning person too. I can think better that way. Maybe it needs to be the other direction, bird's mouth, because, and that is probably what I'm not seeing correctly. I'm trying not to think by vision. I'm trying to use the math part of it here to get it right. I mean, that is right. It has to be cut in there. So it needs to be a line connecting that. That's kind of small as it is, to be honest. Yeah, I think I know what I got to do. All right, so here's what I think. Yeah, I don't have a framing square. I know what you're talking about. Roof pitch. Not a framer, not a carpenter. Not good with rafters. I've done them a couple times and a pain in the butt, but I had to do it without making a mistake. 15 degrees is level cut. 75 is plumb cut. All right. Yeah, that's what I want. So plumb cut is going to be what lays against there. Now, and let me double check. 75 from the aligned with the grain, John. Yeah, that looks right. Sure is. So I did get that angle right, John. Thank you for giving me layman's angles. Yeah, that's flush. All right, so that has to be, I think, longer. But it has to connect right here for my layout to be cut properly. I'm gonna use a jigsaw probably for that part. Thanks, 75 degrees, that helps me, man. I think probably an inch is good. Maybe 2, let's do 2 inches. So, yeah, thanks, John. I definitely have lots of things to learn, man. Let's make it 2 inches long here. 75 degree line right here. Yeah, this looks more like what I'm used to. Yeah, that's right. And then just straight. Right. Oh, I got it. All right, I'm locked in. I got it. That's 15 degrees right there. There it is. Though it should actually come all the way to the edge of the layout face. So I need to bring that this 75 degree line all the way back to the layout face, right? Appreciate y'all. Sorry, it's more complicated stuff today. It's not me being that's probably the depth I want. I laid it out further from the layout face than I would want. Yeah, there we go. That's it right there. Let me show y'all what I got. John can take a look at it and give it his stamp of approval. A lot of extra lines. I get it. I get it. When you learn this stuff, it's a bit of a learning curve. Oops, I took the wrong line off. Put that line back on. Gosh, this is why people tell me to get blades. Mike's been asking me about blade. I got it. I promise. I get it. All right. I hope that's right. I'm gonna take both of those off because I'm not sure. You can't do math and chat. Nah, man, I can't. It's my ADHD. I gotta do math and only math. I was hoping to kind of have some of the math done when y'all got in here, but it didn't work out. It's okay though. Live and learn and do your best and all that. All right, that's what I got. That's the bird's mouth. It should be in the right location with the right angle. People underestimate a carpenter, dude. All right, that's the bird's mouth right there. It should be at the correct angle. Hopefully you can see that. That look right? Because what you're trying to do is get a 90-degree angle relative to the, I had to work that, it has to make sense to me, you know? All right, so the couple ways of approaching this. And then once I got this bird's mouth, it's gonna be easier to figure out the other one. But I wanna check it also, it could be a fail. I might chisel that, dude. $75. Boop, boop. Oh, am I operating off cam? Boobity boop boop. Thank you. There's a 3/4 of an inch. Wrong one. My long point on the other end facing down. Yes. Yes, it's the right way. Thank you for that question. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm just putting a layout line on the other side so I have a reference point while you guys will have the layout on your side. Okay, that didn't work. All right, that's good. That's good. That looks identical. Yeah, it's right. It looks right to me too. A little bit of an angle here, I can chisel that away. A little blowout right there. I believe in my last bet I did the jigsaw on this. Everybody should be back or coming back. Yeah, it's always, I don't ever worry about it because I know it's usually YouTube, like, because the connection is, we used to think it was our connection, but, and it's not great, but it has nothing to do with that usually. Trying the bird's mouth on the bed here. Oh yeah, that fits well. Better than my last one. All right, this one should be much easier because of that.
Your audio came now. I don't know if your mic's dying. I only heard 2 blocks come back. At first I thought it was...
You know, my mic might have, hold on. Sorry, all audio technical difficulties. Should be on internal now. Oh, did that super zoom thing now? I'm gonna put y'all in the region of the bird's mouth there. side. They're squared up, that's good. That one's, get my protractor. 75. I hate when it does this, man. Zooming in, zooming out. Hopefully that worked. These are right together, so for my brain, I need this 90-degree line here. Also for my protractor, because I don't have framing square at the moment. And my speed square is a little tricky for me right now for my brain to figure out on here. For that bird. It's a 2 3/8. I'm just gonna make a 75-degree angle line. I'll show my 75. That's approximate. It's got to be 2 3/8 exactly. Then 15 degrees coming back the other direction. I can learn. It's just, you know, I told you before. I think I said it on the shooting the poop that I can't really start with. First, I'm getting the accurate by eye. Spatial relations, y'all. Uh, 165. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, you know, angles are just, it's just a, there, that's what I'm looking for, because now it's on the layout face, so I know it's against the 90-degree or close. That's what I need right there. That's it. I'm gonna cut with my other one as the guide. So a little in from that line and then chisel down. That's probably the way to do it. I'm gonna get a layer on the top of it. I've never tried this really. A little deep on that side, actually. In my chat. Do 15 again, angle isn't right. Oh, well, luckily I got that guide angle on the other side. Thank you for telling me that, John. Let me double check that. Gotta do a straight edge here. Yeah, I know what you mean, to reciprocate the angle so I can. That looks, it's pretty close. No, that's not the right spot to do that line. Man, I'm just so messed up with this stuff sometimes, man. I'm usually, I think it's because I'm on the spot a little bit. I mean, I've kind of matched it to the angle on the other side. It's too long here, maybe.
So pivot on the corner of the angle, I guess, instead of.
It's 5/8. That's probably where it needs to be right there. I mean, the angle, I could redraw, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. I already sawed it. And I think this saw cut's actually more on an accurate line than a layout mark. So really, it's more like I want to take this and put a 75-degree angle line to that point. John's going to try to go to bed with a headache. That's where that needs to be right there. Match corner. That's where that should be. I mean, the angle was right, the length was wrong. Maybe John thought that part looked wrong. The angle is okay. It seems like the length of the bird's mouth there is incorrect. John taught me a bunch today. See, you can learn on here too, just like you can teach people stuff. I'm sure you got a lot of minds on here. Man. I'm just gonna put just a basic cut here so I can get my chisel down in it. Yeah, I know. I'm usually good with a speed square, John. For some reason, right now, my brain, I can't put it together. Like I would usually do all this with. I wouldn't even get the protractor out. Like I got nervous a little bit, and that made me want to get the protractor out because that's like familiar territory. And maybe just shy of the other one, and I can pare it down a bit. I saw these guys cutting timber frame rafters, and I was telling Wes about this the other day, but they took all the rafters up next to each other. You know, they have a skill saw window guard on it, and they just cut them all at the same time, which I thought was awesome. You know, I've been looking for a video on timber frame rafters. You know, these guys don't even have a monetized channel, but they have like crazy good information and really good videos on timber frame. It's just production value that's keeping them from blowing up because they've got the knowledge and I'm sure they make plenty of money out there. They don't really need to do a YouTube channel. Timber framers get the choice of projects a lot of the times. What happened down there? Did I give a blowout? Yeah, it's good. So the bird's mouth is a relative angle, and this is a rafter problem. That's why John was so quick to pick up on it, because the bird's mouth, you need those on rafters as well. So here we had a bunk bed issue that really could be resolved with rafter carpentry. You know, Wes could have probably done it too. He was trying to be nice. John, appreciate you. Appreciate Wes. Appreciate all y'all. I don't want to see how I got to watch what I say, because I appreciate all your input. Wes will sometimes let me work it out. Some people, they just can't handle watching that. Alright, so that's the part. So now I'm a lot happier, because that was very stressful. And that one seems to fit somewhat right. Now the width of them is important, because I want them on the stringer and not against one of those dovetails. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, the other one's not quite as good. They both sit against it. So the next thing is to go through and actually mark where each step of the ladder is going to be, and just establish a width. So all right, there's the two stringers right there in place. So you can see what they look like in their position. What I need to figure out now is width. I mean, this is really a good width right here. And I don't mind if these two touch. Might be 1 foot. Tape measure. With John's help, I figured it out. I probably would be having about 2 new boards if I didn't do that. I don't know if I saw a tape measure. Why not? I can use the yardstick. $14 looks like good. It's just that I'll have to use more wood that way. If I can narrow that down a little bit and still make a comfortable step in the that's probably alright right there. I'm okay with 14 3/4. Or, yeah, 14 3/4 from end to end. But the internal width would be 12 inches. 12 inches. I could have done that on that color too. Alrighty, next thing. Wow, that shot actually that's messed up on there kind of looks nice. Now what I would like to do is do through tenons on these, but I don't know if I'm gonna be that ambitious. I think maybe I'll just cut dados in there for them. We'll slide them in, glue them up. That's 2 and 3 quarters. Yeah. So that's 14 3/4 divided by 2 is going to be 7 3/8. And what I need to do is take the amount off of each side to make it 12. I might beam saw these. Line them up real good. And 3/8 from either side. Just put my mind's eye to see what 1 3/8 from each side looks like. Though those boards are not uniform, but we ran them through the planer. Had to measure, had to weigh against the possibility that they're rounded. The chamfered edge would mess up my measurements. That, if I'm correct, that middle should be 12 inches. Yep. So that's the width in the middle, and I can make a little square tenon in the middle of these. We just take 1/3 from each side. Do I make those layout marks on the external face here? So that's going to be where that line is that I make now is going to be where the tenon starts. I could probably do, you know, I just got to do a little math to figure it out. Oops, this is what I wanted to avoid. I didn't make that last layout mark. Bite me. I want to get the metal seating store too. This is like a Walmart one. I just have a nice one. so this is a straight edge. I don't need to cut that, right? This I'll cut with the beam saw. I'll do the layout marks on the inside face. See right there, I got some other random 2x4s. The elbow in the way. So what I'm doing is I'm laying out the 14 3/4 and the 1 3/8 from each side, so I don't have to do that when they're cut. I'm gonna get a tiny, like a 64th for just a hair for a hog's hair, as Wes says. For just for kerf. 14 3/4, all the spelling people who got me yesterday. I'm gonna do some hand sawing with these. I'll go ahead and take a few of those out before I start cutting these other ones. Rami, what's up, buddy? Greetings to you as well. Okay, I didn't do us, right? No, it wasn't too bad. I felt better about it than it was. Ooh. That doesn't matter. That's actually going to come off anyways because of the tenon. I just want that as square as possible. Let me get the inside of it. Like I said, that little bit of blowout I just experienced shouldn't matter because that should be waste anyway from where it's at. .5 divided by 3 as fraction. Let's see what we get. It's going to be 1 1/6. That's an odd fraction. So how to do this? It may be that what I want to do is just determine the top and the bottom, the front and the back. Also, the angle of those the angle of these is going to be 15 degrees on all of them. They're going to have to be set into those at 15 degrees. All right, so this is what we're going to do. 1/6 is not a fraction I have on my ruler. Let's look at millimeters. This might be a situation where metric system comes in handy. That's 87 millimeters. 87 millimeters. .29 millimeters. Probably need my reading glasses for this bad boy. So I'm going to come in from either side, 29 millimeters. That does look pretty accurate as a third broken up in there. Is it freezing again? I think we froze. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me see if we can resume enough for me to stay by. Oh, we are still here. You're good. All right. This is my device is frozen. Now my reference is not great for this, so I don't have a reference face really. So it's gonna be kind of eyeballing what is square. That's not it. Where's my eraser? Right now, that's not it. And this is definitely a knife scenario when you're going with the grain. Could probably put a level up to it, but that's about right. I'll show y'all what I was thinking here. Chisel it down. That'll be easy to chisel. Alright, well that didn't do it. That didn't go well at all. It's because of my angle. That's terrible. Wow. that you try and fail sometimes. That's really bad. Because I cut right into my side. I might be able to salvage it if I do a cross cut here and leave it and then glue that back together. Wow, that's terrible. Yes, it happens. It happens. It happens. Probably time for me to wrap it up here soon. Let me try to correct that by, how do I correct that? This one may be gone, man. I don't even know why I was cutting in at that angle. It's the rip side though. That sucks. It would be sucking to lose that piece of wood because of that. I have an idea. You could also make just a custom mortise for that. Just make it skinnier. It doesn't matter that much. So that's the actual shape of the mortise with a bad cut going through it, but I can probably correct that if I just glue that up and leave it for the night. Oh, round me back, or am I looking at old chat? So that's where the line should be. So you see I'm outside that, and then this one's outside, so I don't really have to worry about that. I can correct that. I think I know why I did it. It feels like there's a knot in here or a resin pocket. The wood feels funny. It's not normal. It's real sticky. This is why, you know, construction lumber sometimes comes a little wet, and I didn't know that till recently. Could be that also, like moisture on the inside. So that other side has to be corrected and glued up, basically. A bunch of spruce sawdust around here. Do a little of that in there. All right, so we know it's 29 millimeters to the mortise, or to the tenon. It's 1 3/8 from each side. I'm gonna lay this piece right out here. So this is 12 inches, right? The width between the two stringers. On this side we have 1 3/8 inches total for that. 1 3/8 inches total, and I need to know this for my next set of measurements. Then for the tenons, it's 29 millimeters in. 29 millimeters. I told somebody the other day I do a mixture sometimes. 29 millimeters, and this way, when I come back tomorrow, I will be aware of what I'm doing and be able to knock some of that out. We'll cut the, we might want to use a router to cut the dados, and we'll cut the router dados in, or we'll use chisels to do that. I don't know yet. Probably router. And we will cut these tenons on all of these rungs. It's probably like 9 or 10 rungs here, maybe 8 rungs, and we'll have to figure out how we're going to space into it. That's the other thing. So got to figure out. Let me take a little piece of wood. Angle of the rungs is 12 degrees or 15 degrees. Right? And then the number of rungs from the bottom has to be figured out. And then rung spacing. Right? I'm not looking at any plans or anything here. This is all figuring it out as we go, but trying to be precise as we can. Appreciate everybody being here today on Dad's Workshop. I'm going to feature another member tomorrow. If you are not a member, consider becoming a member of the channel. Pretty soon it's going to be mostly members only content, all the content and replays and stuff like that. So consider becoming a part of the family now. Right now we are growing. We're a growing family, so I want y'all to consider that. It's only $2.99 a month to do that. And I appreciate everybody being here today at Dad's Workshop. Double tap that screen on the way out. Share a video with someone. Check out my most recent short about the shop yesterday. And share a video with somebody. Drop a comment so I can pin your comment. Love y'all. Do the next right thing, folks. This is Dad's Workshop.